Islam appealed to you due to you taking the initiative to look into it yourself. However, not everyone is as inquisitive as that. There being a general perception that Islam is a black and brown religion and Christianity is seen as a white religion. The truth is that both Islam and Christianity predominantly consist of more non-white followers, and both religions originate from the Middle East. Judaism is actually the only religion that is majority white European. Let's not open that can of worms right now though. However, one of the largest demographics accepting Islam are people with white European roots, which is wonderful. I think if non-Muslims in the West were better informed about Islam being a universal religion that doesn't belong to any particular race, they would be more open to exploring it. So how do you think that we can make Islam more appealing to non-Muslim Americans and Westerners in general?
I think a lot of it has to do with the way we present ourselves to other people. I think that unfortunately Islam is still very much seen as this foreign religion. Even people who are like sympathetic to Muslims, they still see Muslims as like this minority group that's from another country, and they don't see it as a religion. They see it as almost like a cultural identity. And I think some of the ways that Muslims present themselves through Islam and the way that they practice things that are just not really religious, like kind of a-religious elements, contribute to that. So for example, when you think of an Islamic speaker, you always think of like a guy wearing a thobe, like an Arab headdress or something like that. Like that's when you think of like a Muslim imam or whatever, even though all of those elements of clothing are worn by people who aren't even Muslim or religious in like Arab cultures, for example. Yeah. They're going to automatically associate it with, oh, this is something foreign. Therefore, it's almost like you're jumping cultures as opposed to just jumping religions. That can be really difficult for people to do because most people are not flexible enough to completely change their own culture in order to follow a religion. It's a massive barrier to entry. And I think if you present Islam in a way that doesn't have to be the case, I think that people are going to be more receptive. And I think media matters too. I think that having good media that has some sort of mainstream appeal, as opposed to just like most of the dawah efforts that we do are very intellectual, which is fine. That's going to appeal to a certain group, but there's not like a pop culture element to it. And I think that a lot of people, for better or for worse, kind of follow trends in culture and they follow things that are popular or that other people are doing. And they tend to like latch on to certain things, phrases, whatever that they see emulated in figures that are front and center. And so I think that if we had Muslim figures who were like more prominent and presented Islam in a better way, a good example of that are some of the UFC fighters, people like Khabib. Cultural influences like that matter a lot. So I think getting more Muslims into having influence on shaping the culture is very, very important.